1, identity fraud, a felony of the 3rd degree. Count 4, forgery, a felony of the 5th degree. And count 5, identity fraud, a felony of the 4th degree. At that time, a pre-sentence report and victim impact statement were ordered. The state's understanding that a victim impact statement as well as a pre-sentence report have been completed and provided to the court, and that all parties are prepared to go to sentencing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Levy.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court. Your Honor, my client stands before you having accepted responsibility for his actions, entered guilty pleas. He has made an admission as part of his pre-sentence investigation report. He also made an admission at the time of the incident to police. Your Honor, my client had significant restrictions on his driver's license. He was not able to obtain a valid license and ended up obtaining 2 vehicles. One was obtained for his co-defendant, which she paid for in full. The other one, he used a identification that wasn't his, ultimately, which with I think a worse credit score than he would have had, but a valid license nonetheless to obtain a vehicle and financing for a vehicle. He did put $5,000 down on the vehicle. It indicates that he made approximately $5,000 of payments for repairs, which may have included a new battery. Your Honor, and he did make payments on the vehicle, took the vehicle in for service and the like. Unfortunately, while there for service, he did also obtain a loaner in that name, but there was no damage. I don't believe there's any restitution. The vehicle was recovered, as discussed in chambers, with the money that was paid on the vehicle, that there was no economic damage and may have actually been an economic surplus. Not that that in any way excuses his actions. But, Your Honor, this isn't a case where he got a vehicle in someone else's name, beat the vehicle up, drove it, left it in a ditch somewhere, and moved on to harm the next person. He certainly was wrong in what he did, but he was trying to make payments. I don't think he had any intention to cause any negative impact to the victim, even though it did. And, Your Honor, he accepts responsibility. He's apologetic for that. That certainly wasn't what he was looking to do. He was just trying in any way to obtain a vehicle and pay for it. Your Honor, he is working and has been working through Juergens, and we had some discussion, and maybe my client could clear that up. Initially, Juergens, which placed him at Mid-Forge West, and he is through them and through tuition assistance enrolled in Tri-C in engineering school to start the spring of 2026, so shortly here. He's managing his diabetes. He's also arranging and helping to financially support his mother, who's a stroke victim, in nursing facilities. Your Honor, he has cleared up his driver's license and is now valid, which I know is a significant hurdle, and there were a number of financial obligations and other obligations he needed to meet in order to do that. He's working, he's making a nice living, he's enrolled in college. I believe that while there were past offenses and past transgressions, that he does finally have himself in line. He is on community control out of another county. Your Honor, I believe that we would request that this court would consider the principles and purposes of felony sentencing and find that the least restrictive sanction that would protect the community and punish and meet all of the factors and obligations would be a period of community control. A prison sanction in this matter would essentially halt all of the progress my client has made, and he'd be released in a much worse situation as opposed to somebody who finally does have their life back in order, took responsibility for his actions, and is trying to do the right thing. If this court would consider community control, even if that be with local time, my client would request an opportunity for work release and educational school release to allow him to continue to meet his obligations. And if local time were imposed, he would request an opportunity to turn himself in 30 days after getting his affairs, especially his mother and the like, in order. Your Honor, again, he's extremely apologetic for his actions. I know that in the past he's engaged in this type of behavior and activity, but I think he's finally put himself in a situation where he's able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, clear his name, finalize his sentencing and obligations to the courts, whatever that may be with this court and other counties, and finally get himself on the right track to do things legally and properly. He can get a vehicle in his own name. He's shown that he's going to pay for it. And as he gets older, grows up here, Your Honor, I think he certainly realizes he needs to live a law-abiding life. Thank you for the time this morning, and thank you to prosecutor and probation department as well, and Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Shorter, what do you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
Sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous, but first and foremost, I would like to apologize to the victim, Carl Johnson, who was my cousin, and I'm mostly disappointed because we had a great relationship. We had a great relationship, Your Honor, and I may have ruined it. But yes,
Sounds like it from when the victim impact statement I got from him.
but yeah, pretty much in the last 6 months to a year, completely turned my life around. I'm working nearly 60 hours a week. I'm asking for overtime. I don't have a vehicle yet. I'm saving money. I'm walking to work to save on saving from Uber and Lyft, ride sharing. I'm doing my best, Your Honor. I've set up payment plans and paid off all my fines and costs to get my license back valid. With working, I'm sorry. My job have a perfect attendance at my job, and it offers tuition reimbursement, which I applied for, and I'm scheduled to go next semester in spring. I'm really just ready to put all this behind me, Your Honor, and I ask the court to please acknowledge my progress, and please allow me to be able to maintain my stability that I worked so hard for, Your Honor. Again, I apologize to the court.
Where do you work?
At Mid-Ford West, it's we make axles for Ford. I'm a CNC machinist.
How long have you been working there?
Give or take with this company, Jergens is the temp agency, but give or take with Midwest Forge, maybe 6 months.
Did you get that job through a temp agency?
Yeah,
And what was the temp agency's name?
Jergens.
Where did you work before that?
It was a job called Press Right. It was also CNC machining.
Where's the temp agency located?
152nd in Waterloo, Cleveland, Ohio.
What are they sending you to school for?
Engineering. Right now I'm just a CNC machinist. But engineering will help me be more troubleshooting to the machines. And
Are you hired permanent at Midwest?
as of now, yes, I just recently was hired into the union.
So if that's the case, it tells me that you have a level of intelligence that is beyond the people that normally come here.
I agree.
So why have you been screwing around for the better part of 10 years?
To be honest, Your Honor, I just dug myself in a hole, and
Right, the question was why you did that. If you're
Right.
this smart, why were you doing this stuff? Because you've been here before, right?
correct. Finances, Your Honor. Like I wasn't the best with it, and at the time I tried to cheat, and it was easier for me to get the vehicle the way I did versus pay off all my license, which I should have did from the beginning.
Well, it was temporarily, it was easier.
Yeah.
So what did you do in Stark County for your identity fraud?
Stark County, I knew a gentleman who we had opened up a bank account, and we had a disagreement, and he basically went to the police and said that he wasn't involved in the doing, like there was no.
Well, what was this agreement you had with, who's this person?
His name is Wahid. He's in Stark County. The agreement was that we were, again, this is not who I am today, but the agreement was that we were going to open up a bank account and try and, do a money scheme or whatever.
Well, that's not what the police report says. It says the guy lost his wallet and then discovered a bank account was closed. And then it was reopened, and his direct deposit check was going to the new account. It's a lot different from what you just told me.
Yeah, that was his version, I believe, he was trying to get restitution, which there
Okay,
was.
how did you know this guy, Wahid?
I moved out. I lived out in Canton for a while with my brother back then, and he was a neighbor.
So what was with this last failure to comply from Euclid last November?
That was with the Tesla. That's when all of this started.
Okay, it was a failure to comply. So what's a failure to comply?
Yeah, the lights, he turned his blue lights on and I failed to stop.
Why?
Scared, Your Honor.
Scared of what?
To be in this situation that I'm in now.
Okay. You should know better because this
I know.
happened
Yes, I know.
back in December of 17, right, that landed you here.
Right.
So I put you on probation in 17, or March of 18, violated for smoking pot, violated a second time for smoking pot, and eventually completed your probation after 5 years. So you still smoking pot?
I was up until a month ago, until I seen that you had revoked my bond for it, and the motion was put in, and you granted it, and the court said that it doesn't allow marijuana cards, so I stopped all use.
Okay, so why is somebody who appears to be intelligent screwing around with pot?
For me, it's not more so screwing around. I actually have a medical issue, irritable bowel syndrome. Like when I stop the use of it, like after every meal, my stomachs get really bloated and I have a hard time and I end up in the hospital, where I've been to the ER plenty of times for.
You understand it as you stand here now. I'm very skeptical of everything you say because you've spent the better part of the last few years conning people, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I have a hard time believing what you're telling me. You're taking it for face value. Okay. Now, you come here appropriately dressed, well beyond what almost everybody else does, but that only goes so far because that's kind of playing the role of who you've been, right? That you're telling me you're no longer that person, but that's who you've been, right?
Correct.
I mean, you managed to con the people at Adventure Jeep such that they let you leave with a car. So you've been doing that. You've been bouncing around here for 9 years, pretty much your whole adulthood, right?
Correct.
Okay. So tell me why tell me why I should believe that you've somehow turned the corner in the last 6 months.
I mean, if you don't know me personally and you're looking at a piece of paper, then yeah, it will be kind of hard to believe. But Your Honor, I'm pretty much tired. I'm tired of it. It hasn't gotten me far. It hasn't gotten me anywhere, honestly. Trying to be great. I'm trying to be stable, Your Honor. That's one of the most important things to me. And stability has not been my friend, but I'm growing towards it. Like I've made on-time payments with my lease that I just signed a new lease in October. I made on-time payments for the past 12 months. I even did things like gotten my credit score up higher. Just working and trying to pay my way to do the right thing, Your Honor.
When did you get your license back?
A few weeks ago, I just paid off everything.
Okay. What did you have to do to get your license back?
I owed court, I owed Willoughby, I owed the BMV. I had to take a driving course program, maybe I think it was 12 hours or something like that online. I had to take a driving course. I completed that, but mainly I had to pay.
How much altogether, roughly?
Probably close to about $7,500.
Well, that certainly proves something, right? And that's what you have to do, is prove things, not talk about what you're going to do, but actually do it. Okay, so you managed to do that.
Right.
So that's obviously a positive in your column. What effect did this have on Carl?
Honestly, I don't want to sound like that guy, but I don't know what do you mean with effect? Like emotionally or financially, there was no effect on him. Effect on it. Like I just couldn't get the car in my name, and I thought that would be an easier way, which I thought at the time it was, but I used all my funds. I didn't, steal any finances from him or anything. I made payments on the vehicle. I even got the vehicle fixed. Turns out to be a waste of money because the car was returned, it was returned in 60 days, so it didn't even impact his credit score or his credit,
So you don't know what effect it had on Carl?
No.
You've been under no contact anyway.
Correct.
Your Honor, he's been under no
I
contact.
understand that. Well, it did have an effect on Carl. Now, you didn't think about that when you were doing this, right? That didn't concern you at all. What about, who's the person that was your co-defendant here?
Oh, at the time, she was my girlfriend.
Okay. And what happened with her case?
I believe she got community control and some jail time.
All right, anything else you want to say?
Again, I'd like to apologize. I wish if there wasn't no contact order in place, I would like to give my show remorse to my cousin. Like I said before, we did and always have had a great relationship, and I screwed my license up and tried to look for the next best way out without having to spend so much money at the time. And so I just want to apologize to him for sure. If I ever get a chance to, that's what I will do.
All right, have a seat.
First, I want to clarify the facts. There was some confusion as to what was said earlier about what occurred. So the defendant actually went to the BMV in Wickliffe on 2 different occasions to get identification cards in Carl Johnson's name with the defendant's picture and address, but Carl Johnson's name and information. The first ID, I believe, expired, and then he had to get a second one. After he had the second one, he went to Mayfield Heights because Wickliffe doesn't do driving, and he got a temporary driver's license. That's what he used to purchase the Tesla in August of 2024. So the co-defendant is for the Tesla, not what was mentioned for it being the Buick. So when he went to buy it using Carl Johnson's name, he did not qualify for a loan, so that's when he called Ms. Toomer to come up for her to co-sign. She did sign her own name. The defendant, Mr. Shorter, signed Mr. Johnson's name and used that not accurate ID or temporary permit. So the loan was still in Carl Johnson's name. It is my understanding that Mr. Shorter was paying on it, but it's still in Mr. Johnson's name that he would have had that, as well as anything that is connected to the identification card or the driver's license. Then he went back to Mayfield Heights and got an actual driver's license after he completed his temp. After that had happened, he then went in October of 2024 with another female, a Jasmine Liggins, to purchase a vehicle in Painesville Township. Now that vehicle was for Ms. Liggins. She paid the full amount. She didn't sign anything. The defendant signed again as Mr. Johnson. So she was not charged with anything as a co-defendant. That was quickly taken out of Mr. Johnson's name because these titles were all in Mr. Johnson's name. So whether you want to say there was financial issue or not, he didn't pay on those loans, but he has a lot of things that are attributed to his name that he had nothing to do with. He did not have a driver's license. He had an identification card. I know the BMV was attempting to get him a new driver's license or ID number because that travels with you through your life. And Mr. Shorter has skewed everything that is shown on his record. During the time frame that he was driving under Mr. Johnson's name, he was stopped and did have some sort of traffic ticket. He did pay it, which thankfully meant that Mr. Johnson didn't get a warrant for not knowing about it or doing anything. But it is still on Mr. Johnson's record. The other thing with Mr. Johnson, I don't know if he has been diagnosed with or not, but he does have difficulty and struggles in life, whether he's on the autism spectrum or has other mental illness aspects. This has affected him more than it might somebody who didn't have some of those issues. His brother helps him with a lot of his living. He was our contact person a lot of the times to get a hold of Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson did a victim impact statement. It's my understanding he's been struggling to clear up to get an ID that is only attributed to him and is not connected to what Mr. Shorter has put on paperwork and has been caused to be contributed or attributed to Carl Johnson. So he was very to find out that his own family member had done this to him. He has indicated that he has been traumatized and hurt and overwhelmed by all of this. People are trying to help him to figure this out, and it appears that that is very overwhelming and hard for him to deal with. So you can say this didn't really affect him, but it did.
Well, I didn't say that. He
Correct.
said it didn't affect him.
I completely agree with Your Honor. The court has not said that, and to think that it hasn't affected him, I think, is very short-sighted, because it has had a lot of impact on him based on his mental condition, based on the relationship that facilitated all of this. And it did take Mr. Shorter a lot of effort going multiple times to different BMVs. The information that I received is you can pay somebody and they'll help you get the bad ID, and then you can use that to go and get your license and go through all those steps. So then when he went to Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Willoughby, he presents himself as Carl Johnson, signs numerous documents, pulls in Ms. Toomer to sign all these documents, and then he goes to DriveWise and buys this Buick to help this other female, keeps that a secret, to the point that when they're having jail calls, she keeps saying to him, "Buick, be careful, Buick," because she knows that that was also done incorrectly. So there's a lot that went into this, more than just, I couldn't buy a car with my own license, so I used another name. It's much deeper than that. The Euclid Police Department did a lot of investigation and turned it over to Willoughby Police Department as well. So this is much more serious than it seems to be presented at this time from the defendant. And it is an F3 as well as 4 and 5. He does have a criminal history. He has juvenile adjudications as well. In 2010, he has a felonious assault. It's indicated to be a felony of the 3rd degree. He was an adult. 2011, a criminal damaging. In 2015, a theft. As an adult, he started his criminal history in this court, 2018, with a failure to comply, F3, and an improper handling of firearms in motor vehicle, a felony of the 4th degree. He was given probation. He had 2 probation violations, as the court has indicated. He was allowed to stay on probation to complete 5 years. In 2020, he has misdemeanor offense of theft and obstructing official business. At some point during that case pending, he had a warrant. In 2023, he has an obstructing official business, and then a separate case of disorderly conduct, intoxication, and possession of marijuana. In 2025, he has a conviction for the identity fraud that this court was talking about in Stark County, a felony of the 5th degree. He was actually indicted October of 2023, so almost a year before he committed these offenses. So he was already involved in one aspect where there was an identification card that again had somebody else's name but the defendant's face on it. So he is on probation on that case, and what started Euclid being aware of what was going on here is he has a failure to comply, which was reduced to a misdemeanor in Cuyahoga County, which is when this Tesla, he was pulled over in the Tesla eventually, had a lot of interaction with law enforcement at that time that was negative on scene, and then as they were looking into the Tesla and the information, they found out that his ID and everything was not proper. So he was under indictment when he committed these offenses. He tested positive for marijuana while on bond in this case. That was the reference to his bond was revoked, and then there was a motion asking for it to be recalled. It was recalled, but he clearly continued to use marijuana. So the extent of what happened here and the effect it had on multiple people and the number of people he deceived through this process, through the BMVs, through the different dealerships, his cousin, all of those is much more extensive than seems to be wanted to be presented. So we do feel that with his prior criminal history, the prison is consistent. The question is whether he's amenable. State's not going to deny that getting his driver's license and a job are positive things, but that doesn't change what he did to other people, how he's lived his life up until, according to him, 6 months or so ago. So based on that, we do feel prison is consistent. If this court feels that he is amenable to community control, we feel that an extensive jail sentence is appropriate. His co-defendant, who merely signed her own name on documents knowing that he was doing something wrong, though she's still complicit, got 60 days. He was much more extensive. He went to 2 different dealerships, and then also in between that, when he was getting his car serviced, he signed for a loaner as Mr. Johnson. So if anything had happened to that car, there would have been issues. He did test positive for marijuana, so we would either recommend jail treatment program or at least a drug and alcohol evaluation to follow all recommendations. I think he should enter and complete the decision point program, that he not use any drugs or alcohol, that his screens come back negative, that he have 1 doctor, 1 dentist, 1 pharmacy, and sign all releases, that if he is prescribed any medications, he takes them only as prescribed, that he have no contact with both dealerships, the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Willoughby, and DriveWise Motors. They have no contact with Cherish Toomer, who is his co-defendant, or Carl Johnson. Quite frankly, he probably shouldn't have contact with Jasmine Liggins. And they pay all costs and fees. If he is given this opportunity, that the court make it aware to him that if he does violate, he's looking at 66 months in prison. The remaining counts would need to be dismissed. And that's the state's recommendation at this time.
All right, thank you. Okay, I reviewed the pre-sentence report and the victim impact statement. And I have listened to Mr. Shorter, listened to counsel. I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. As you are aware, Mr. Shorter, there's no presumption either way in this case that you should go to prison or not go to prison. In this instance, I'm going to find you're amenable to community control, and I'm going to put you on community control for 4 years. Now, give you conditions of that community control, and what you say doesn't matter, what you do matters. Okay, it's that simple, right? Because you've been here before. You know what probation is. You know what you have to do. And if what you're telling me is accurate about you turning things around the last 6 months, then you'll do it, no problem, no big deal. Pain in the ass, but no big deal.
Right.
So the conditions are you're going to serve 120 days in jail with credit for 5. You're to have no drugs or alcohol, and you'll be screened, other than prescription drugs. You're going to get a drug and alcohol evaluation. You're going to follow whatever recommendations are made. You're going to complete the decision point program and follow recommendations. You're going to maintain full employment or school. No contact with Carl Johnson, the co-defendant, or any of the dealerships in this case. You're going to complete 260 hours of community service. And you're going to pay the costs and supervision fees. You're to you're to report to the Lake County Jail on Wednesday, November 26th at 9 a.m. Now, I'm going to give you work release, but you've got to provide a schedule of your work and or school in order to be released. And you'll be released in sufficient time on each side of your beginning and ending to get back. And then when you get back, you're subjected to testing.
Suppose my job policy doesn't do work release.
Well, what do they care as long as you're showing up? I mean, look, you've spent the last 9 years screwing around in the system, okay? So your penalty for screwing around this time after doing it so many times and doing the same thing, okay, before this time, okay, is this jail sentence. It's either that or a prison sentence. So you're going to have to deal with the fallout from whatever you did, because this nonsense ain't fallout free, okay? You got to deal with it. You're 29 years old. You're either going to do what you told me you've been doing, or you're not, or you'll fall back on your old habits, okay? That's up to you. If this interferes with school or work, then it interferes with school or work, okay? But that's the penalty that you're paying for doing what you did. You're not penalty free here. You understand?
Yes, I understand.
Now, if you don't comply, and the state files a motion to terminate your community control, and if I find that you violated, then there's 66 months in prison waiting for you, okay? So, once again, you figure out how you want to live your life, because if I'm to take what you say is true, up until the last 6 months, an intelligent guy has been doing nothing but trying to figure out how to circumvent the system. So figure it out. The remaining charges are dismissed. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Is the community control concurrent on each count?
Yes.
And I apologize. Did you say 4 years?
Yes.
Of community control? And how much was the community service hours?
260.
260. Thank you. That's all from the state.
52 hours per year. 1 hour per week. Not too onerous. Mr. Levy, anything else?
Just to clarify for my client's knowledge, marijuana is not considered a prescription drug, and he's precluded from using marijuana.
It is not a prescription drug.
Thank you, Judge.
Now, in the past 11 years, I have allowed the use of medical marijuana on rare occasions. Each occasion, like you can count on one handful the number of times, and it's been related to documented physical conditions only. So take that for what it's worth, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah.
We'd also asked for no contact with the co-defendant.
I said that.
Did you say the co-defendant?
Carl Johnson, co-defendant, and the dealer.
Oh, I didn't hear co-defendant. Right, thank you.
This case shows how identity fraud escalates when a defendant layers deception across agencies, dealerships, and family. The court rejected the story and focused only on actions, not promises. Judge's message was direct. Progress is proven through behavior, and any slip returns the defendant to a multi-year prison term.